Welcome back, everyone. Today we are diving into something super important for all of you, aiming for that Gold Seal certification.
Absolutely.
Handling the media when things go sideways on a site,
Yeah.
emergency site issues. Because how you communicate during a crisis, that can make or break a company's reputation.
It's high stakes for sure.
So yeah, we're going to talk about communicating effectively and ethically under pressure.
All while aligning with those organizational protocols.
Yes. And of course, upholding industry best practices.
You got it.
So let's start with the basics here, like the importance of a clear chain of command when you're dealing with the media. Our sources really emphasize this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like only authorized personnel should be speaking publicly.
Right. So think of it like this. If everyone's running to the press, you end up with a jumbled mess of information, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even some, inaccuracies.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that definitely undermines your credibility. It's like what we see in the CCDC guidelines, specifically in Clause 10.1. That one really underlines the importance of clear roles and responsibilities in communication, right? Especially during emergencies.
Okay, yeah.
And that really helps with preventing those conflicting statements that can really hurt public trust.
Yeah, it makes sense. So it's all about having that single source of truth.
Exactly. One voice, one message.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So, what about being ready for a crisis before it even hits?
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Like, how do we plan for the unplanned?
Well, that's where having a crisis communication plan really comes into play.
Oh,
It's all about being proactive, ready to go before the pressure's on, right?
yeah.
Imagine this. You've got pre-written templates for press releases, FAQs, and they're ready, tailored to various scenarios. Saves you a ton of time.
Right.
And it helps make sure your messaging is on point and covers all the important stuff.
So you're saying it's kind of like having a fire drill.
Yeah, exactly. But for media relations.
Okay, cool. So we have these templates, right?
Right.
But how do we avoid sounding like, well, robots?
Oh, that's a good point. You always want that genuine feel.
Right.
And remember, each platform has its own audience, even its own character limits.
Okay, yeah.
So you might have to adjust a press release to fit a Twitter update.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe tailor it for LinkedIn to connect with those industry pros.
Right. Makes sense. So let's talk about the reporting itself.
Okay, sure.
Timely and accurate information, that's critical, right?
Absolutely.
But when things are unfolding rapidly, how do we avoid speculation?
Yeah. Sticking to the facts, avoiding any conjecture, that's really key.
Okay.
So instead of speculating about what caused the incident, focus on what you know for sure.
Yeah.
Like if there is an evacuation, report on how many people were evacuated safely, what emergency services are there, and what's being done to figure out what's going on.
Got it. So be transparent about what we do know,
Exactly.
even if we don't have all the answers yet.
Right.
Now, our materials also talked about protecting stakeholder interests.
Yeah, that's important.
That seems tricky.
Yeah.
How do you balance being transparent, but also keeping things confidential?
Yeah, it's definitely a tightrope walk. Remember, stakeholders have different interests, right?
Yeah.
You've got your client, maybe they're concerned about keeping some project info under wraps. Then there are the subcontractors, they need to stay in the loop. And of course, the public, they deserve to know about any potential safety risks.
Right. It's a lot to juggle. So can you give us an example, like a real-world scenario?
Absolutely. Let's say there's an incident and it involves a new technology, something not yet released.
Okay.
Maybe you can't reveal the specifics of the tech itself, right?
Yeah.
But you can definitely stress that all the safety protocols were followed
Okay.
and that a thorough investigation is underway.
So you're being transparent about the process, but not revealing sensitive information. Okay, that's a good example. Makes sense. Our last point here is about keeping a record of all media interactions.
Documentation, right?
Yeah. Why is that so crucial?
Well, think of it this way. Having a record helps you stay accountable, and it fuels continuous improvement.
Okay.
Imagine being able to go back, look at past interactions, and see what worked, what didn't, and if your messaging was consistent.
I see.
That helps you refine your game plan for the future.
So it's about learning from each experience and evolving your approach.
Exactly. Always getting better.
Got it. So effective media management during an emergency, it boils down to preparedness, clear communication, ethical considerations, and a commitment to always getting better.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
We covered a lot today.
You sure did.
It's a lot to take in, but super important. So here's a final thought for you all.
All right.
Think about how a media crisis, if it's handled poorly, how that can affect a project's timeline and even the budget. It's a big deal. So how can you help build that culture of preparedness in your organization? Even if you're not the designated spokesperson, think about that.
Good food for thought.
Okay. All right, until next time.
See you then.